Finishers and factions catching action.
Hi, I'm Rich.
And hi, I'm Adam.
Welcome to this week's episode of
Finishers and Factions Raw Edition, available on all your favourite podcast platforms as an Audible.
or here on YouTube, where you get to see all the action as well as us. So, without further ado, let's crack in. Right, so obviously this week, Monday Night Raw was in San Jose, California. We started off with a little recap of last week's Raw and what happened there. And then the mouthpiece himself, Mr. CM Punk, makes his an appearance for a promo, which starts with thanking all the brave firefighters currently fighting all the wildfires in LA. And kind of shows himself with a bit of a face move at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously absolutely horrific what's going on with the wildfires in California, and if anybody's watching that is in that area, I hope you're doing so from a safe standpoint. And yeah, I want to echo the message that Punk made about everybody working together to try and get those fires under control. It's completely different kind of firefighting to like your chip pan fires or anything like that. It is a completely different beast.
Not something I'd be brave enough to do, I'm not going to lie.
No, I can't say I'd be one of the ones running in the other direction. So hats off
definitely.
to the men and women who are putting their lives on the line to try and keep that area habitable. But yeah, what a pipe bomb from our man Punk. It's he was definitely over in the SAP Centre, a sold out SAP Centre.
Yeah, attendance of 13,000, I think they mentioned. So
yes, I think
incredible
that was roughly about definitely somewhere around that figure. But yeah, after the message from Phil, we had the entertainment section of Punk's promo, which was all about his sort of plans for the future, and that how he was talking about the fact that he put all of like this Seth Rollins bullshit behind him.
Oh, little did he know.
Only for probably the worst intro to have after he's just said about all of the California forest fires, we go to burn it down.
Yeah, no.
And in fairness, that literally just twigged with me how possibly inappropriate that might have been to do in San Jose.
It was the line for me where he just goes, I'm gonna enter the Royal Rumble, I'm gonna win it, I'm gonna go to the main event at WrestleMania, and then you're gonna hear my music, the Cult of Personality, play my music, and then burn it down, Seth Rollins. And it was very much like fucking hell.
So I've seen a short of when Seth Rollins is making his entrance, where they've actually sort of enhanced the audio that CM Punk was, because he was sat facing away from the entrance ramp, talking more or less, talking to the crowd and Michael Cole. Basically,
why couldn't it be Rhea?
Why can I never be interrupted by the likes of Rhea Ripley? And I mean, it's a question we all ask ourselves.
Right, and then we saw the same video on social media. If you go to the comment section, they're all busy saying how much of a muppet he is and how he hasn't got any game. And then someone points out that he's married to AJ Lee, and at one point was inserting himself into Lita. So it's two of the WWE's finest divas. So I don't really think his game's too off,
Well, as viewers get to know me a little bit more, they'll know that I've got like one of my wrestling idols isn't a wrestler at all. It's good old JR and his barbecue sauce. And I mean, JR speaks really highly of CM Punk, but does say that, especially in his earlier days, the guy was a hound dog.
I don't blame him.
He was a 100% ladies' man, and I mean, some of the women he got to work with,
Can't blame him.
No, definitely not. But back to this promo with Punk. We had Seth Rollins come in, basically reminding him, dude, I ain't finished with you yet.
Yeah, he's gonna toss him over the top rope, and go off to win the Royal Rumble himself, crush Punk's dreams. I think Punk's retort to this was brilliant. You couldn't pin me in the middle of the ring, so you're going to take the easy option and toss me over the top instead. Like,
Yeah.
fighting words those are. Complete fighting words.
But that's fighting words from a man who is past the point now. He's not. He really just isn't interested in Seth Rollins anymore. He's had his fun, and yeah, I mean.
Can you blame the guy though?
Oh, 100%. I mean, he is so far under Seth Rollins' skin, but unfortunately, Seth Rollins is also so far under Punk's skin that they're just. It ain't done between the two of them. But this is where, and I always love when WWE like to throw us a bit of a curveball. This is where we end up with another curveball with another entrance, making us a three-way promo. It is Drew McIntyre.
He's everywhere at the moment, because he was on SmackDown last week as well, running his mouth as well, wasn't he?
I think he did make a brief appearance. So, do I remember correctly that he said something along... I was going to say, I think he might have been having a conversation about, because they're talking about they talk a lot, or there's a lot of talk about a transfer window between the brands, and I thought Drew McIntyre was the one that had come to talk about a transfer over to Raw, but I actually think that may have been something said later on in the episode by Nia Jax.
It was, yes.
We will come to. But yeah, we basically had during this promo, not one person announced themselves for the Rumble, not two, but
three
different people announced themselves for the Rumble in CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and Drew McIntyre. I mean, how does that really change the outlook for this match that we now, according to Michael Cole's count, know? Was it six? Is it six superstars now that we know? I mean, we know.
I think so. We were given. We've got John Cena, obviously Punk, Jey Uso, and LA Knight. That I don't remember seeing their announcements, but they have obviously been made somewhere. We were having this conversation earlier. You've got Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and then Drew McIntyre, which are all declared Royal Rumble entrants. And then obviously you've got Nia Jax for the ladies, which we'll get into a little bit further on in the episode.
Yeah, so 7 superstars in a 30-man Royal Rumble, although I have seen some rumours that they could potentially be looking at making it maybe a 40-man, but I feel like they'd have announced that by now.
Unless they're going to try and build a storyline somewhere in the next 2 weeks to try and mean they have to increase it, then I don't see them doing it just yet.
No, this is it.
But then you look at it, normally you get sort of like 10 off Raw, 5 off sort of SmackDown, or between 5 and 10 off SmackDown, and then again between 5 and 10 off NXT, and then the ones that you're missing from SmackDown and NXT, they normally give you a legend or a guest sort of entrant, so to speak. So we've worked out quite a few of who's coming from where so far, but we'll keep an eye out and see what else we can add to the list from social media and elsewhere, ready for next week's episode.
Yeah, I mean, there's always a surprise entrance or two, but and really that's what makes the Rumble for me. Rumble's one of my favourite pay-per-views of the year, not just because it's normally in the same month as my birthday, normally around my birthday, but it's just one of those events that you really struggle to predict year on year, and it's just so much fun. But this promo ended looking like there might have been a triple threat match between Punk, Rollins, and McIntyre, which may have been worked into something resembling a main event. But McIntyre
wasn't down for that. I think he knew he was getting it from both angles in that one, at that specific time anyway.
Yeah, and he wasn't getting out. I mean, he wasn't getting out of that without sustaining an injury potentially.
No,
And we
he
actually
wasn't.
saw, speaking of injuries, we actually got a first look at the state of Rollins' face
Oh,
after
that
last
go
week's
to
main
sleep.
event.
Yeah, it's a chunky black eye, isn't it? Sported a
Well, it
few like
wasn't
that
even a
myself.
black eye. It wasn't even a black eye. I don't even think you can class it as a black eye. The guy. I don't know if they'd done something with some makeup to make it look so much worse than it actually was, or if that is
He
just
looked
the
a bit
state of
rugged,
it.
didn't he?
But he did. He's got a bit of character on his face. But
Just
yeah, we
reminds
went
me of
from.
that clip where Lesnar's feigning being injured and got that guy in the crowd like, rub some dirt on it, Brock. You ain't hurt. Rub some dirt on it.
Oh, love that. Love that. But yeah, then we went into a short VT, teasing some matches from later on in the night. The match for the first women's intercontinental champion.
I was so excited for this.
Oh, 100%. And then we had the main event, which was the Damian Priest versus Finn Balor street fight, which they
Again,
had.
was so excited for as well.
But before all of that, something we thought we all speculated we were going to get during that Netflix premiere episode of Raw. Match one of the second Netflix Raw, and
we get Chad Gable versus WWE's worst kept secret of the month. Who was it, Adam?
Probably worst kept secret of the year, but this was Chad Gable versus Penta. And oh my days, what a match.
What a pop, what a match, what a finish.
Before we even got to action in the ring, I'm getting, just talking about it, mate, I am getting fucking goosebumps on my arm.
That little Chad Gable promo though, is it me or have they turned him into if Kurt Angle was from Temu? Like, it's the same lines, it's the same gimmick, you know. It's not, I won a gold medal with a broken freaking neck, but it's like, oh, I'm an Olympic medalist, you know, like, I went to the Olympics.
If he starts chugging gallon after gallon of milk, we know which way this is going.
Yeah.
The guy's going to end up bald and bitter.
There's going to be a match with Edge and someone's getting their head shaved.
I mean, the one thing I did enjoy about it was the "You Suck" chants coming in. I absolutely adored
Nostalgia.
that. I thought that was great. But yeah, big story of this match was Penta's debut, and yeah,
what a debut!
I mean, we're going to talk a lot about Penta during this match.
He's going to get a push as well, so we're going to be talking about Penta for the next couple of months, I think.
But just on this match alone, I mean, we're going to give Penta all the props that he deserves, because the guy is an absolute legend. But
he did have a little bit of ring rust.
The one bit of credit that I will give, so credit where credit is due, we don't see an awful lot of Chad Gable, but this was an incredibly competitive match.
Mm-hmm.
Generally speaking, with WWE's big debuts, they have a tendency to turn it into a slightly competitive squash match, where the new face will just come in and completely dominate the competition. But I genuinely spent the majority of this match thinking, is Penta actually going to win his debut, or are we going to end up with a loss on his record to start WWE in, which isn't something they do very often.
It's not. I didn't think they'd give him the L, so but to see them actually let Chad Gable have an opportunity to put on a bit of a show, like you said, we don't see a lot of him. When we do see him, they're not normally the greatest matches on the card. I think personally this one has an opportunity to go for match of the week. It's definitely a contender up there for match of the week for Raw.
I mean, I'll put it out there straight away. This was my favourite match of the card. It was 100% my favourite match of the card, and I know you're not going to necessarily agree with me, but...
Well, you're a fan of Penta, you watched him at TNA, you've watched him before. Obviously this guy's been performing in professional wrestling for over a decade, so a lot of guys who watch outside of WWE will have seen him before. For me, it was the first time seeing him properly. I saw a few clips from when he was in AEW, but kind of looked like they'd handicapped him a little bit there, not really giving him an opportunity. But yeah, no, I'm hoping we get to see a lot more of him. But for you to say it was your favourite match, that does say quite a bit. But yeah, props to Chad Gable as well for putting on what was definitely a technically gifted attempt at going against a luchador. It was very, very good quality wrestling.
Oh, 100%. But I think by the end of this match, sort of Penta and Gable had got over in their own way with the crowd. It was if you saw one match of both of these wrestlers, if that was the only match you've seen of them ever wrestling, then it was a fantastic
definitely
resume match to say this is what they can do, this is what they can't do. They were both in jeopardy situations, so you know that they can lose, they can win, and yeah, I'm sorry, it just speaks
so
to
back and forth as
so
well. So back and forth. You didn't have time to sit and think, oh, you know, they've got a bit of an advantage, or whether Gable had an advantage or Penta had an advantage. It was reversal. It was, absolutely phenomenal technical wrestling.
Oh, 100%. And they both left it very much in the ring for me. It was, I couldn't have asked for much more of them. And for that to be the first match of the night set the bar so incredibly high.
It does. As WWE have got a habit of either putting a really good match on at the start and the rest of the show kind of doesn't live up to it, or the start of the show is incredibly boring, but at the end of the end match is just phenomenal, and the people that don't sit there and watch it all kind of miss out on some really well crafted stories sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. And we came out of that match straight out of that match to an in-ring interview with Penta on his win, which was an incredibly convincing win. It was, if we could gush about this match all
that
the way
Penta
through,
drive is beautiful, isn't it? What a finisher!
Just wow, fantastic.
And I've noticed he likes to use the swing blade quite a lot as well. It's a move you didn't see a lot, seems to be coming back to be more popular, which is quite nice. When you get the sort of moveset rotations, you see some quite a bit, some that you don't see a lot these days, and to see one coming back is definitely very nice.
Well, we saw it quite a lot in this episode because it appears in quite a few matches.
It does.
So yeah, definitely something to keep an eye out for.
Very similar style of wrestling with the two people that did use it. They're both very high-paced. The two people that did use the swing blade in this episode were both very high-paced, high-flying, quite high-octane wrestlers, so it's quite nice to see it.
And two of my favourite wrestlers in current competition at the moment. I mean, Penta, we've gushed about him enough, but the other one who used it was right the way at the other end of the episode was a Finn Balor.
Definitely, but we won't spoil that one. We'll come back to him and his match with Damian Priest in a little while.
So as I said, we went straight out of this match into an in-ring interview with Penta himself on his victory, who gave a moving sort of promo on the journey it took him to get to WWE, and he gave it in two languages, which I think you have to come to expect out of a luchador, really. The thing that I actually quite enjoyed about this was that Netflix didn't provide an English translation of what Penta said, because I have a tendency to watch these things with subtitles on, so I don't miss anything.
If you watch it live, it doesn't, but sometimes after they've re-edited it out, especially now with Netflix and they've taken the adverts out, they do sometimes put subtitles in.
But they didn't for this one, because I didn't watch it live. I'll be honest, because 1 o'clock in the morning, I need my sleep.
Yeah, no, I thought I had subtitles, and I watched it today, so...
Oh, right, so they may have edited it back, because you're watching it today, I watched it sort of Tuesday night, So Tuesday evening, I sat and watched it, and they hadn't put the English translation. So I actually went and found out what the English translation was for what he said.
We're recording this at 10 to 11 on a Wednesday evening, so yeah, it's taken us a bit of time to get there, but we're getting there.
Yeah, this is it. But something along the lines of, for all my people from Mexico and all of Latin America, I want to say thank you for being part of the process. Thank you for accompanying me on the path to WWE. Which, yeah, the guy spoke from the heart, and it
Definitely.
got over with the crowd.
But he
almost
wrestled from the
immediately.
heart as well, so it kind of shows what we're going to get from Penta and what Penta gives to the table.
Oh, 100%. 100%. But yeah, we're not going to sit here and gush about Penta all evening. It's going to be, we'll move swiftly on to next item of business, which was a Judgment Day promo, if I remember correctly.
It was, with Liv Morgan and every wrestling fan's favourite dickhead, Dominic Mysterio.
As well as the other members of Judgment Day,
Yep.
Carlito in the background, JD McDonough, Finn Balor, and Raquel Rodriguez.
Yep.
And yeah, this was where we're really starting to see some of cracks forming in the new Judgment Day.
Yeah.
Sort of Finn Balor having some really not very well disguised jabs at Liv Morgan for losing her title the week before to Mummy.
It's funny though.
And I mean, the big part of this for me was Dom coming groveling.
Those flowers, man. To then just be told that she's not angry, but you know, if he really is sorry, he can go and get her bags from the car.
I mean, as two men of a certain age now, I think we can both say without sort of any doubt in our mind, if a woman says to you that she's not mad when you've done something and you fucked up,
yeah, as someone who can
and you're gonna
attest to that. Yeah, when your significant other is silent with you, then when you've done something stupid, run. Do not stick around. Get out of there. Don't go to the pub. That might make the situation worse, but yeah, go and get bits and start cooking dinner, because that is the first step on your way to redemption.
Oh, 100%. But Dom showing some lack of experience with the ladies there, just thinking, nah, I'm all good. I think I'm good. Nah, mate, you're not. You are a dead man walking.
He showed some lack of experience with the ladies with that damn mustache. Just get rid of it. Oh, yeah. No. Him and Vince alike need to remove their facial hair.
But yeah, the other bit that came out of this was Balor and McDonough, JD McDonough talking about reclaiming their tag straps, and McDonough going away to demand a chance to take them back from, I think it's War Machine or something along those lines.
Yeah,
I believe. I think they used to be called the Viking Raiders. I think it used to be the Viking Raiders, but I'm not 100% certain. I know
War Raiders are the tag champions at the moment.
Oh, is it? Oh, right. Okay,
War
fantastic. Yeah. So, yeah, no. So I thought it was War Machine, and they used to be called Viking Raiders. I see what I've done there. But yeah, so
we've all made mistakes on that.
Oh, 100%. Then we went into match 2, singles match, which was Sheamus and Ludwig Kaiser. Now, I haven't seen Ludwig Kaiser wrestle that much, but Sheamus, just another one of my all-time favourites.
I'd say we've seen a lot of the Great White over the last 10 years at least. So
100%. Some good, some bad, some.
My favourite moment will always be that brogue kick at WrestleMania. Daniel Bryan ate that hard.
Oh, that was when he lost his title in like less than 10 seconds.
That was like 3 seconds or something. He was showing off with his wife in the corner, wasn't he? And Sheamus just runs straight through with a brogue kick and does him.
Well, we should point out he was showing off in the corner with what is now CM Punk's wife.
Yeah.
Back
That's
when
good. That was AJ Lee,
was,
yeah.
back
So
when AJ Lee was there.
I saw a post on social media that apparently AJ Lee was approached to be a guest appearance in the Women's Rumble, and she politely declined. So
Yeah,
I
as
don't
much
think
as
it
we
will
keep-
happen, but I think it's one of those.
as
It
mu-
will never happen again.
it's going to be a constant, like a constant rumor that comes out around the Rumble is that we're going to be expected to see AJ Lee as a surprise entrant in in
More
the
chance of
Women's
seeing the
Rumble,
Bella
which-
twins.
Well, I think we have had that, in fairness, at least one of them.
In previous years,
Um,
I'm just saying, we more chance this year of seeing one of the Bella twins than there is of us seeing AJ Lee in the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, but the match itself, I didn't hate it. I mean, any Sheamus match where he's given pretty much free
push.
reign to do a Sheamus, to have a Sheamus kind of match. He's never going to be a high flyer. He's never going to be an amazingly technical wrestler.
No, but
He's
he
there
is,
to kick the living shit out of you.
and he does it well. And
He does.
You
He
look
does. He's
at
built he's built a lengthy career on kicking the shit out of his opponent.
and you look at Ludwig Kaiser's chest at the end of that match. Oh, it was almost as red as Sheamus's hair colour. I mean, I would not want to be slapped by that man that many times. My chest turned that colour, I tell you.
No, I mean one of Sheamus's stalwart part of his matches is having his opponent wrapped up in the ropes and
Just
banging
raining
his chest
open palms, like he's bloody King Kong, mate.
like he's an absolute, like he's treating his opponent like an absolute drum, and as a universe we eat that up. If you see a Sheamus match and he doesn't get the chance to do that, you are going home a disappointed fan, realistically.
And you know, even
But-
if you're sat in the cheap seats right at the top, when Sheamus has got him and he does that, you're going to hear that echo in the cheap seats too. Not that there's such thing as a cheap seat in a WWE live event these days, but they're more of the less expensive variety.
Yeah.
Same with life, I suppose.
One thing of note that we did see in this that WWE haven't used in a very long time is a shillelagh. Do you know, I actually had to Google how to spell shillelagh, and it is not what I thought.
You know what? I didn't even. I think I've just written it down as Shalala.
You're probably not that far off the right spelling, in fairness, because it's not spelt how it's said. Essentially, you can see how the sounds get made, but yeah, I would never have spelt it this way if left to my own devices.
I find it funny how they had an Austrian attack an Irishman with what is theoretically known as an Irish weapon.
Well, it's a leprechaun's weapon.
Exactly. But it was just
in trying to find out how to spell shillelagh, I ended up doing some inadvertent research into shillelaghs, and yeah, it's a traditional leprechaun's weapon.
So, I mean, more normal-sized people might use them for beating steaks, to get the air into the meat.
Yeah, tenderize the meat.
Tenderize your steak with a shillelagh, which is pretty much what Ludwig Kaiser tried to do to Sheamus at one point.
Yeah, but Sheamus was not having any of that this night. He picked up a pretty convincing victory against Ludwig Kaiser, and we ended that section with a face-off with Bron Breakker, who was sat as a guest in the crowd.
He was, which wasn't announced at the time, but was mentioned a little bit later, and I thought it was strange that they didn't announce it when they were facing off. But actually, on the next Saturday night main event, Sheamus has an intercontinental opportunity against Bron Breakker. So he has an opportunity to get the one title that he's never actually won. So the guy with a Hall of Fame resume has never won an Intercontinental title, which feels to me like Sheamus could be coming up on retirement, and he's asked if he could have a small run with that title before he drops out, just to say, look, I've stayed here my entire career, won everything, I'm good, thank you very much, I appreciate it.
Yeah, so Saturday night main event being broadcast in the States on NBC and the Peacock Network. It's available to view everywhere else on YouTube, and that's on the 25th of January, starting at 1 a.m. UK time.
And we've already got 2 confirmed matches for that. That is Sheamus versus Bron Breakker for the Intercontinental, and I'm not sure if I'm giving too much away by revealing the other one, to be fair. I'm just going to scroll up on my notes a second just to make sure it's there. Yeah, so we end up...
We've got another match which we'll come to later on, as it does come up as part of this episode. So.
It does, yes. So we've, after the Sheamus Kaiser match, we had a bit of a look at a Seth Rollins promo, basically kind of talking about his fight next week with Drew, of which Sami Zayn comes to kind of basically tell him, look, I've got your back if you need it. At which Seth Rollins tells him, well, you've been helping everyone else out, and kind of you need to grow some balls and start helping yourself and not Roman. And that kind of leads off from there. Yeah, no. To be able to yeet that hard at that age, to be able to cause your watch to think you've had a heart attack is incredible.
I mean, Michael Cole's career has been. He started off as an interviewer. He was a backstage interviewer because he got ripped somewhat chronic by pretty much every wrestler that came through the WWE that did a promo.
I mean, it was useful for some things, I suppose.
Well, yeah. I mean, he made his way to the commentator's desk and was colour commentator for years, and then went to play-by-play. And in fairness, he's not my favourite commentator ever. That spot will always belong to good old JR.
Yep.
But I can't knock him for what he's done. He does play a fantastic role in some of the stories that he's been a part of over the years.
And he's always willing to get down and do something stupid. Like, he is not afraid to get involved in the shenanigans as well, which I think makes him, a good member of that team to have.
Definitely. But yeah, I mean, third match, Jey Uso, Drew McIntyre. What were your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I mean, it was a good tactical match. I wouldn't have said there was many overly big highlights to it. It was probably one of the weaker matches on the card for the pay-per-view, or for the event. I think Drew was probably unlucky to lose the match, because for most of it he was generally ahead. I had more near pinfalls. Struggled to pull off his finisher a few times, but you've got to get him in the right place to be able to hit a Claymore. But I think with the matches, and I said it was the weakest one on the card, and for me it was the weakest because of the ending. Roll-up finishes for me always kill a match. No matter how good the match is, a roll-up finish always kills it. Either pin them straight, submit them, or DQ it and go again in a couple of weeks' time. I think a roll-up's a bit of a cop-out, but, that's me personally.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, roll-up pins are a no-go for me. If you get to an end of and use a roll-up pin, I think that's just lazy. There are other ways. You can use it better ways to tell the story, I think.
So it's worth pointing out at this point that neither me nor Rich are in any way, shape, or form professional wrestlers. I mean, I'm pretty sure we'd kill each other, not from the moves we tried to perform if we wrestled one another, but more so for the
health and safety.
We just do not have the stamina for it, quite frankly.
I'm a professional fat bastard. That is about it.
Yeah, pretty much. He really is.
But yeah, I do sort of see what you're saying about roll up pins. They can, in my opinion, they don't kill a match as such. If they're used if they're used correctly, it can be really beneficial to a story. I mean, you look at it on paper. Jey Uso versus Drew McIntyre. For me, Drew McIntyre wins that in a straight fight all day long
Oh, yeah,
because
cool.
the guy's a brute. And I mean, at the minute, his storyline, he's a bit off the reservation with it. He's on a bit of a bloodline crusade, and it's
He's at the path of blood.
100%. And I mean, Jey Uso throughout the entire match was doing what he could to try and keep Drew off balance. Started the match with an over the top rope dive to again keep him off balance. Because the minute that Drew gets control, it's over
Game
for
over.
Jey Uso.
Oh, yeah. You have to use
Um,
your high flying abilities to stay away from him as well, or go at him from range.
but as I was saying about roll up victories, I mean the this particular roll up victory will help feed into Drew McIntyre's storyline a little bit more. It's not there to make it. It's Jey Uso putting Drew over for his storyline, in my opinion. That's how that one works, pretty much.
Which is strange because you'd look at it more as Drew's the former champion. He would be the bigger superstar putting over Jay, but it's not quite gone that way.
Yeah, it I'd see where you go, but yeah, I think there's. I said right at the beginning about Raw, there was nothing that didn't need to be there, and that for me made sense to be there from a storyline perspective. Um, but yeah, obviously Jey Uso picked up the victory over Drew McIntyre. I don't think we'll fully agree on whether that was the right way to go
Deserved or
about it
not.
or not, but
Yeah.
is as it is. We went from that into into a string of promos because we started off with the New Day and Gabriel Iglesias
Fluffy.
promo. I mean, it was a mindless self promotion for Gabriel Iglesias' new Netflix special. I mean, I've sat and watched it, thought it was. I mean, me and you are a big Fluffy fan,
I
realistically.
have, definitely enjoyed a lot of Fluffy's previous content. I'm yet to watch this new Netflix special, but I have been told it is half decent. So when I get an opportunity to sit and watch it, you bet your ass I'm going to.
Oh, 100%. And I would recommend it. But this one, again, it's still feeding into a storyline, even if it is self promotion for Fluffy. I mean, New Day are on a heel turn at the minute, and there was a big thing where a a few people at home have noticed that Kofi Kingston is wearing a particular pendant around his neck. Um, this might make more sense to me than you, but it was very similar to the Majin curse from Dragon Ball Z. Um, yeah, I can see from the look on your face,
Yeah,
I've lost you just now.
I've gone.
But yeah, if you're an anime fan, you'll get the reference. If you're not, like my man Rich, it will go completely over your head. So yeah, I'm
You're
not going to
bold
spend
like
too
me,
long
it
talking
skims even
about
faster.
that. No friction, mate. No friction.
Freshly lubed.
But again, string of promos. We went straight into a Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest promo where, yeah, we got Rhea taking some jabs at Liv Morgan, carrying on the storyline.
Yep.
Damian Priest putting
He was
teasing
putting a
his
teaser
match.
out. Yeah.
Yeah,
He's got
street
Finn
fight,
Balor on the 14th for that street fight, yeah.
100% street fight on with Finn Balor on uh, next week's Raw, which
Forward to
should
that.
be 100%.
Great
I've
match.
never been a huge Damian Priest fan. Again, I'm not sure why, but it's something about him that's just I've never felt that he just I've never felt personally I've never felt the push with him. There's a
He
lot of
walks
times I can
around
get
like
behind his
Diesel, it's
storyline.
funny.
Yeah,
He's got that
he's built
strut.
like him. But yeah, I'm a huge Finn Balor fan. Have been, have
Definitely
been.
wanting Finn Balor to win myself on that one.
Yeah, most definitely. Um, and then the most
Ah,
controversial promo of the night.
the most ruthless, selfless promo of the night as well.
We
The
had
well,
we had
brother.
Hulk Hogan. We had the original brother himself, Hulk Hogan, coming out and trying to promote his real American beer.
Yeah, I'm not
Well,
gonna lie. I saw a clip of Rey Mysterio drinking it, and Rey's face was like, "Yeah, this is all right." In his eyes, he was like, "No, not feeling this."
well,
Uh,
let's face. I mean, he came out and was just consistently booed by every single man, woman, child, and animal in that arena. It just it fell flat
he
pretty
deserves it.
much.
To be fair, I mean, yes, the guy's given a lot of time to professional wrestling over the years. You know, some great matches at
40 years.
WrestleMania. Yeah, I mean, a long time. You know, longer than I've been alive. But I think he's one of those that needs to leave professional wrestling in his past and go and retire, lie on a beach. He keeps coming back, and no one wants him there. I don't think anymore.
I think he's hit the point of irrelevancy now. Is that
Yeah,
we all know him, even new wrestling fans will know who Hulk Hogan is, but it's a case of
I don't
he's
think
got to
many of us are
learn.
Hulkamaniacs anymore.
He's got to learn that, or WWE have got to learn, potentially a little bit of both. That there is truth to the saying of flogging a dead horse.
Right.
And I'm sorry, I think that Hulk Hogan is that dead horse. He's there's too much history, too much history.
I mean, he's said some stuff over the years that you can't really atone for these days.
No,
It's kind of he's
definitely not.
put his very large foot in his very large mouth, and now he's made that bed. He's going to have to lie in it.
Yeah, and not even the Pythons are going to save him from that realistically. But
And they're
who
not even
knows?
24 inches anymore. He looked frail. Like
Compared to how he used to look, yes. I mean, I
you can
don't think
tell
he's
he's an
ill.
old man these days. I wouldn't say
Oh
ill,
yeah,
but definitely old. Like you
yeah.
look at him and you can see old man. Like yeah, and
Time has
he
not been his
really
friend.
struggled to rip that shirt off, no matter how hard. Yeah, I didn't think he was going to do it to start off with,
No, no,
but
and I wouldn't be surprised if that was a. So back in his heyday, I can fully believe that he was ripping like genuine, like even
real
like
t-shirts.
he could have ripped this fucking shirt off. He could have ripped this shirt off me back in his heyday. I'd have wondered what the fuck he was doing if he was, but yeah, it's a case that now I think that
Didn't even make me breakfast first.
there's a default like a
Oh,
defect
they've
in the
been
stitching, and
yeah,
yeah,
they've been adapted. So when he pulls them, they pull across. But even then, he looked like he was going to struggle with that.
yeah, this is it. And then we get to the main event match.
But you're missing one of the most important things. That Penta tease
Oh,
against Chad Gable for Monday Night Raw. Obviously, they've been looking for a partner for Penta, and a lot of rumours have been saying that he was going to go with Rey Mysterio. But apparently, there might be a singles push in the run, and he's got a match against Chad Gable on Monday Night Raw next week.
so he was one notable absence from the Netflix premiere was Penta, and we all thought. I think everybody thought he was making his appearance there and then on that night, and
Yeah.
both me and you after watching it had said, "Where the hell is Penta? Like he's not there. He wasn't there when we thought he was gonna be there."
No, but then it could just be a case of, he hasn't sorted out some paperwork or had some medical stuff done at that time to be there for Raw. But then
Either,
would they have had the time really to debut him properly?
well,
It
this
was
is it.
quite a
Is that
packed show, so to throw an extra segment in there with a debut of another wrestler that's new to the business, That
Yeah.
if he doesn't live up to the expectation as well, like you debut this guy on Monday Night Raw's Netflix debut, and he flops. That's a big ask. It's a big question to ask. I'm not saying Penta would flop, but you know, it is one of those what wrestlers doing other promotions doesn't always, you know, happen when they come to WWE and vice versa.
Yeah, I mean, you can't catch lightning in a bottle, and sometimes that it just doesn't translate well over into other promotions, and it's nobody's fault. It's just you you get to that point of, are they just trying to just do what the other guys did before, and things
Right?
like that.
Yeah. But no, that main event. Oh,
Yeah, main event,
the
CM Punk versus Seth freaking Rollins.
promos and the build up to this fight were absolute magical. Like
Oh, 100%.
the build up to this event was insane. I loved it. And the fact they've got real life beef as well just made it
Yeah.
even more believable. The fact they do actually hate each other's guts. So, what I say, hate each other's guts. Like they worked together. Obviously, when CM Punk was there originally, before he took his title and he threw it in the fridge, and you know, after that wonderful pay per view. But that was
Yeah,
a cool match.
I,
You
I
know,
would
it's
argue, I would argue that Seth Rollins hates CM Punk. That is, he's gone on record a number of
mm,
times and said that. I don't think CM Punk really gives a shit. I will be honest. It's just not.
it's just that is it's arrogance, isn't it? That's CM Punk all over, I suppose. Yeah, I really don't think it's
Mm.
water off a duck's back. I
Yeah,
suppose the
this
amount
is
of
it.
people that hate the guy. I mean, he's a brilliant heel. Like he's a natural heel.
Yeah.
He's also a very good face, but he's a natural heel because people just love to hate the guy because he's got those
Oh,
smirk little one-liners. And I mean,
well,
Christ, you go back through the last 6 months of television shows before he left the first time round, and just look at all the little quips and the little one-liners and the pipe bombs. And that guy is good with his mouth, so he can definitely turn a crowd one way or another. Even just yeah, it's brilliant, pure natural.
yeah. I mean, it comes back to the fact he's a Paul Heyman guy. It's what we
I
were
was
saying
just
earlier on.
about to bring that up. He is a Heyman guy.
You can't. There isn't a Paul Heyman. There isn't somebody who's come out as a Paul Heyman guy that can't be that has failed at being a heel, or has not been able to cut a freaking promo. And
Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar, great heel. His ability to cut a promo. I have seen Staffordshire Bull Terriers do better abilities in the garden.
credit given
Verbally,
where
he's
credit's
not
due.
great on the mic.
Credit given where credit's due. His last run in WWE. I mean, I don't think he's currently under contract. I will be
He's not,
honest,
no.
but he's his last run. He was doing it without Heyman because Heyman was involved in the Bloodline story,
Mm-hmm.
and he he showed some improvement on his ability to cut. He's not gonna. He's never gonna be sort of Enzo Amore, John Cena. Or he's never gonna be up there with that level of being able to
But
cut a
he's
promo.
been doing this a long time. He should be able to cut a decent promo.
But he started in the Vince era where he was a Vince McMahon guy. Brock Lesnar was Vince McMahon's wet dream essentially as far as a wrestler goes. He wasn't there to he was there because Vince McMahon
You did.
used to forgive a lot if you had the right physique, if you looked like an absolute beast. And I mean, Brock Lesnar is the beast.
He, he isn't, yeah. I mean, built like one as well.
Yeah.
I think the
I
biggest
mean,
I ever saw him was when he was in the UFC. And you looked at that guy then and were like, "Oh, I'm not pissing on his cornflakes in the morning." Mm-mm.
no, no, definitely not. Um, but yeah, Brock Lesnar aside, it's a
We digress.
WWE night. I mean, they 100% made the most of their minutes. They maximized the space they worked in. I mean, action was spilling into the arena. They were fighting in the crowd.
Non-stop from start to finish.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's definitely some injury time on the way up for Rollins. He seemed to really struggle with his knee. I think he's due to be signed out soon, and
Yeah,
I mean,
get a
he
bit of
was
surgery and some rehab and get himself ready and to go sort of SummerSlam sort of time.
yeah, I think so. But one of the things that I picked up on afterwards, like so, CM Punk wins the match. One point during the towards the end of that match, Rollins sustains a very visible injury.
Hmm.
Uh, and even CM Punk, you see in the way that he behaves, it was sort of pointed out afterwards. I never really cottoned onto it. Is that CM
You know,
Punk was genuinely concerned for Rollins' well-being.
you see him grab the ref after he's pinned him, and yeah, kind of like just make sure he's okay. Is he okay? You see him grabbing the ref's face, like up in here, like go and check on him, and you see the ref run straight to Seth, hands down the side of his neck, like you good. But yeah, he was in the ring for a long time after that match. He did not get up and
100%.
move off like a lot of the other guys do. He was feeling that.
No,
And
so
then,
it was either a really good sell or it was a genuine oh shit moment. So,
yeah, but
but
not quite bad enough to throw X's up at the end of the
no,
show. It was just kind of like, we'll let the crowd dissipate. And we'll kind of see what happens. Send some
yeah,
superstars out and get some signatures out, and we'll get him back here and assess the damage.
this is it. But absolutely phenomenal main event. Can't fault it.
Finished with a
Um,
double go to sleep, which I have seen he has used elsewhere as a finisher, and ironically against one of Seth Rollins' former teammates.
yeah,
Yep, double
yeah,
GTS on John Moxley in AEW when he was out there before he got in trouble. But yeah, so that was a fun one, and it's nice to see people moving out of the ring and using the arena as well. Like you said, these guys were everywhere.
yeah.
You know,
They,
Rollins
the,
tried to pop pedigrees on announce tables. They were swapping pedigrees, swapping all sorts of finishing moves at one point. So yeah, it was a good laugh. They looked like they were having fun doing it as well, and you can see that they were enjoying the match that they were having because of the quality of the match.
yeah, I mean definitely. But yeah, I mean that was the closing moments of Raw's first Netflix episode, and
Phenomenal episode as
yeah,
well.
I mean lots of people were like, "This is WrestleMania quality sort of matches. This is what we would expect to see at the
Top four
greatest
pay per
event of the
views.
year."
Mm.
Um, I mean, my only concern is, can they keep up the momentum? Is it like WrestleMania is now 2 nights a year, and there are some matches even within WrestleMania that you think, oh, probably not.
I mean, there's a lot of
But
titles
this
now
is
as well. So if with things like WrestleMania, if you're defending all those titles, there's a lot. They can't be very long, so you need to be able to make sure that the production on them is decent, but you can't blow your budget too far.
no, this is it. I mean, it's going to be interesting. I am genuinely looking forward to next week's Raw, just to see the match quality.
And if that was what we're now going to get on a weekly, I can't wait until WrestleMania.
Oh, 100%. They've
100%.
raised the bar. They've raised the bar.
Well, that's it from me.
And from me too. Thank you all for watching.
Remember, if you've enjoyed this episode and want to be notified when another one goes live,
You can click subscribe and click the notification bell to get notified every time we upload.
remember, like the video and leave any feedback you have in the comments.
And we'll see you next time on Finishers and Factions.
Goodbye.